Hello, everybody. Burnedoutguy here, and welcome to Foundry. Update 2. So, the game had a pretty good update, apparently, and I've never really played this before until, kind of recently, so. But seems pretty kind of cool. Mix between Satisfactory and Factorio. More so Factorio than anything else, but yeah, pretty awesome. So, let's go start a new game. See what kind of plans we got. Foundry, we got Paradox Prime. That features an abundance of resources. Nirvana, fully covered. Snow, okay. Has a little more resources than average. Liquid chemicals are mostly a desert planet. Lush resources are evenly distributed. Balanced planet. Alright, so you know what? I think abundance sounds pretty good. I like abundance. So what do we gotta call our world name? We'll just call it YouTube. There we go. We'll randomize the crap out of that, and that sounds good. And then we'll go like that. Beautiful.
Welcome, operator. I'm Carl, your facility management artificial intelligence.
What's up, Carl?
Congratulations on acquiring a building permit and a derelict space station on this resource-rich moon. An
Thanks.
ideal spot for industrial business endeavors. My goal is to assist you in setting up this factory.
Oh
Let's run
man.
a few basic checks before we get started. Open your map to check your surroundings.
All right.
Fantastic. There are several ore patches in the vicinity. Equip your ore scanner from the inventory and use it to locate the ore patches.
No worries.
To get started, approach both of the ore patches and mine some ore.
Okay, so the first one's right here. This is like the version of iron. All right, that's all mined up. Let's go get to the other stuff. Right over here. This is their version of copper. Perfect. Now that we have all that done, the game wants us to come back here and deposit all of our ores here. We can deposit all that and all that. It's going to make the two different types of stuff that we need. So it's going to make bars and it's going to make plates for us. And then with that, we'll be able to design a nice little base. There's a lot of pillory rocks around here. Yeah, they do mine away at least. Even the big ones here mine away. That's good. That's good. Because I want to build kind of up in the air. I don't want to be restricted to the ground, right? So, but let's see how this goes. Alright, so now it wants us to build a little bit of a platform here so we can start mining some of this stuff. So we'll build a small little platform like that. One of the other things we're going to need. Oh, they didn't unlock it yet, huh? Oh, they want me to place 30 pieces. Here, I guess. And then we'll go place another one over here.
To automate ore extraction, we need to set up a drone miner. Craft one and place it on top of your foundation right next to the ore patch.
Okay, so now we have to build two of these. I want to build two of those. Alright, so now that we placed two little drone miners over there, all we need is a little bit of power. So if we go and we take these biomass burners that I created, and you take a little bit of biomass,
Go watch your mining drones acquire your first
you throw
automated
that
ore.
stuff in there.
Aren't they beautiful? Anyways, we need to get going. Let's build a smelter next.
So there you go. These guys will come out and they'll harvest the material and they'll plop them in here. And then we just got to build conveyor belts afterwards and pull the material out and bring it to kind of a centralized location where we're going to kind of start our material bus system. So I think I'm going to clear myself a little bit of an area, and we're going to bring our material up into the sky a little bit to avoid most of the plants and stuff like that. We'll have to obviously get rid of some trees, but yeah, try to go upwards. All right, so pretty much all what he's talking about is that these machines here, they will, I guess they smelt. They're more efficient when it comes to smelting. Maybe this is probably like a 2 to 1 or something like that, and this is probably like a 1 to 1 or something. Not exactly sure, but they say it's more efficient to use these, so we'll use these. We'll let those ones run dry, and we'll start just using these until we can get things set up, because you need to do a little bit of research in order to start really automating all of these kind of things. For now, we can like set things up so that way like it works. But all right, so the first thing it wants us to do after we connect two automatic melters. So the reason why I got it going really long like this, coming all the way over here like this, is because I want to have a nice big, huge, sprawling base, but I don't want to have to deal with the terrain. I don't mind going and sawing down and drilling down all the trees and crap like that that's in the way, and most of the rocks I won't have to deal with, which is nice. So it's just gonna be mainly trees in my way. So the first thing it wants us to do is we gotta build a research now. So if we come in here, gotta find the research one. Where's the research? This one down here? Yeah, research server. Gotta build one of those puppies. Now that we got a research thingy, we can just plop that down because it's gonna be
To
a
advance
temporary
in research,
position.
you need to make science packs. Craft a few by hand and insert them into the research server to research the beacon blueprint. There is a previously prepared drop pod with an additional robot assistant on the station. We can call it once we've placed the beacon.
Alright, so we're just gonna craft a few of these things here. We're gonna plop them in whenever they're ready. Alright, so we got 3 research, so what we'll do is we'll just go throw it in. It wants us to do the emergency beacon. So we'll go and we'll research that. That's gonna take a little bit of time to do. So we'll wait for that to get done. Alright, now we got their little beacon here, so what we'll do is we'll just come right over here. And he's not joking when it says it lands like right on top of the beacon. So if we go and we place it like right there, then there is a little button.
Great, now you might want to take a step back and look up.
Bam.
A real groundbreaker. This Corporate Command Companion Bureaucrat bot, C3BB for short, will help us with the administration of our factory. First, let's help him out of that drop pod by deconstructing and placing it in a safe location.
Yeah, for now we'll bring him up here. No more safer, horrible location than we have than up here. So let's go get him. He is this thing right here. We'll turn him around. There we go.
Welcome to the ground C3BB. We have completed setting up our basic manufacturing infrastructure. What's the situation on the space station? It's about to break apart, you say? Spontaneous explosive disassembly. That's extremely troubling. What now? There's a working construction drone bay that we can use to repair the station? Perfect. Let's establish contact and repair the most critical parts. We need to research the space station terminal.
Alright, so what we can do is we can come in here. We can research this terminal. That'll be the next thing. So let's see what he has to say.
I agree. Preventing the space station from falling apart is our highest priority. Let's set up a connection and initiate emergency repairs. I'll guide you through the process.
Alright, so here's our spaceship communicator thingamabobber. We'll just plop that down right in front of the stairs. That way he doesn't walk downstairs. Alright, let's contact the station. We'll call this Bog Corp. Sounds good. We're always pretty green. And that one looks pretty nice. I like that. There we go. So, station upgrades. First thing first, the hull thing here. We'll start that. So it's got like a little bit
Our
of
construction drones on the space station are working on their first station upgrade.
construction material. That's our money.
Let's shift our focus back to the factory.
All right, let's shift our focus.
You're right, C3BB. We need to automate research and unlock more technology before we can get serious on manufacturing our first product. If we unlock the assembler, we can use it to automatically craft all the items needed for research. Use belts and loaders to fully automate the process. And don't forget to automatically bring the science packs to the research server.
Yeah. So it's just like Factorio, more or less. You know, you gotta do your research things and bring the research back here. So let's see what else is next. We got the assembler. We can research that. Then, not long after, we gotta get to these things here, these conveyor balancers. Because that's pretty much, well, right. I think that happens right after you get the power generator. We can get the conveyor balancers, and once we get these balancers, then we can start setting up multiple machines on one line. So yeah, we'll wait till then. All right, we got an assembler. Let's see what else we can research here. So we got that in basic infrastructure. I think that's what we need to do. We need to unlock that. So that'll be the next thing that we do. Basic infrastructure. All right, so let's make a few more of these science packies here. Make 10. So now we can do the research for the conveyor balancers. This is what we're going to need going forward now. All right, now we got the conveyor balancers research. Now we can actually get on with making some half decent production here. What, little buddy? Automate power.
Danger averted. With the station secured, we can shift our focus back to the factory. Good job.
Excellent. So happy to hear that. What else you got to say?
You're right. Collecting biomass by hand isn't future-proof.
I agree.
We should use ignium ore and the burner generator so that we can automate our energy production.
I guess it's like a coal production. All right. Well, we'll check that into that. All right. So now that we have those splitters here, they make for separating your material a little bit easier. It's the actual only way to separate your material in this game, which is kind of funny. But anyways, we'll deal with that. So now we have our little plates here, and we got our buyers coming in. So now we should be able to make like an area somewhere. I'm thinking over here, yonderish. That's going to be for research. And then I'm going to have this being our bus line, kind of going straight down like that. But then I also want to have this kind of being taken off to the side and making all of our parts for us. So like what I mean is we're going to have, I guess a bigger a bigger bus line because I want to have all these things automated for us at one point or another. So that way we just kind of got to go to a chest and click some out, and yeah, that's going to be how things are. And that way we don't have to constantly have to handcraft things. That's going to be like a future burnt out guy project. But right now we're going to work on getting at least the at least the research going. All right, so let's do that. So if we look at a an assembler before we start getting our research done, um, the assembler, you need, what do we need? So we need these things here, machine parts and rods. So as you can see right now, we're not creating any machine parts. We're creating just rods and plates. So in order to get those machine parts, you have to actually process them in here, and you're gonna have to make machine parts. So I think before we get into doing our um maybe into doing our science, maybe we should start doing more of our parts that we're gonna need. So maybe it would be a good idea to branch this off going that way and starting off on the um yeah, doing that on that side and then branching these ones off on that side to do the other stuff because those are going to make wires. So the tubes or the bars make the wires, which is kind of weird. But anyways, then we got in here, these things here are the tubes and the wires. So we're going to have to send those one way and we can get another item that comes back. So this is going to be like a splitter that's going to be right here. So we'll have to do uh, something like this, right? On both sides. So now, like, these items are going to go forward into our bus. And then these ones here are going to come over here like this. And they're going to go off and create us new parts, which in return are going to come back and join our bus probably somewhere around here, I guess, right? Because these ones will be coming straight forward. And then, like I said, the other one should come back roughly about here. And then you got to try to leave like a gap between each one of these because of the fact that we need it for this in particular turn off bar. Um, and then once we kind of get the bus bar going, all these are going to be like raised up in the air, and then the only time that they come back, or is that the opposite way? I think it's every time we need to use them, they need to raise up in the air or something. Anyways, it's very strange, very strange. Anyways, we got a good little pattern going on here, so we're gonna go and actually create some parts. So let me make a platform going this way, and then we'll start making the first parts that we need here. All right, so at this point we got all these little parts coming in, and we got these other little parts coming in. So these ones are pretty easy. It's just the plates coming off, going into here, and these components coming out. It's a little bit more tricky. Doing the wire at the back here. All the those are going in. Wires coming out, and then I did a little separation down here so they can feed these ones as well. So we got an up and down, and then we got our little components, electrical components coming out this way. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna set off an area over here for research, and we're gonna set an area over here for all of our components that we're making. All of this stuff, like a little store, right? And that way, like, we need any parts, so we can always just go to our store and grab some parts. And we're not crafting it by hand anymore, right? Try to do something like that. So let's get a little bit of research going and then kind of go from there. All right, so now we have the components here going in and the bars. We're making our science. Science is going in. Science is being put into here. And now we can research stuff. So now we can automatically research all of our science goodies. So what do we want first? We really need power. So we're gonna wait till it gets to the 20, and then we're gonna do the power. But that's where I'm gonna call it for today's episode. We had a pretty good episode. Managed to get up a smeltery system. Managed to do some first of our crafting and do our first components, and we managed to do our first little bit of science, automated science, anyways. So yeah, I think that was a pretty good start. Next episode we'll get into power and more automation. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the episode, everybody. Like, subscribe, peace, take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.